Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I know why you're all here. So I've got my Climo box here, and it's filled with both the putter, the mid-range, and the distance driver. Now, from what I've heard, there are two others, but at least at the time of this video, they have not been released to the public. Now, you will be seeing me do a full review of each of these discs a little bit further on in the spring. That's mainly because, well, Minnesota's weather right now is basically a roller coaster. Sorry. And the temperatures can literally go from -10 to 40 back to -10 within a 24-hour period. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first three prototype discs from the Climo Disc Golf lineup. So first up, we have the putter, the Champ. It is a Speed 2, Glide 3, Turn 0, and a Fade of 0. Overall, noticing it's fairly deep, it has a decently high shoulder, but still very rounded, very blunt, rounded nose, does have a pretty substantial bead on the bottom, but it also has a very flat flight plate, at least in the baseline plastic. It will be interesting to know once it comes out in the premium plastics if it develops that little bit of a bump in the middle of the flight plate, as most putters in premium plastic do, around that injection point. Also interesting to see if it maybe gets a little bit of a higher shoulder. Again, that's pretty common when a putter is transferred into a premium plastic. Okay, backhand grip, it feels good. Because it is deeper, it fills the hand very well. I do like it for my backhanding grip. Putting grip, you know, it's not the most uncomfortable. When I first was feeling this and it, again, is semi-deep, I was thinking it was going to be too deep for putting. I'll still let you know once we get out and actually putt with this, but at least for now, it's not terrible. It's not unbearable, but we'll have to see. Next up, we have the Belleair. This is the mid-range, Speed 5, Glide 4, Turn 0, and a Fade of 2. So hopefully should be a fairly straight mid-range, at least holding the angle that you put it on, with then a nice stable finish at the very end. Looking at the profile... Wait 1 second. So I've got a Wasp here, and I do have to say both of them, they look very, very similar. I don't know. I might have to either bring a Wasp along or just do a comparison video between the Belleair and the Wasp, because at least visually they look very, very close together. But overall for the plastic, one, it looks incredible. I really like the look of the plastic. It's a little bit slippery. I could see this in wet conditions being very slick. It's also fairly shallow-ish, or maybe it's just the way the rim is shaped. It gives the illusion of it being pretty shallow, but I still would consider it to be a fairly slender or at least medium depth mid-range. It's definitely not a deep one by any means. It has that very flat flight plate. It does have a decently high shoulder, at least it very quickly raises to the shoulder, but overall I'd say medium to semi-shallow feel, which for backhand doesn't quite fill the hand. Now let's test the forehand grip, and yeah, okay. Overall, with that flat flight plate, I really like this when it comes to the forehand. The bead on the bottom is not digging into my hand. There's really not much flashing at all that I can see on the bead. Okay, now for the driver, which I believe is called the Skyway. Yes, that is what it is called there. Ooh. That's got a heartbeat to it. Okay, yeah, you can see it's a pretty domey disc, but what I like is it's a very gradual dome. It's not like a sharp incline, then very flat. It's a very gradual climb almost all the way to the center of the flight plate. So at least for backhand, that makes it really fill the hand. But as a Speed 11, which is usually the maximum that I'll throw backhand, it does make it feel a little bit wider than what I was expecting for a Speed 11. But what I like is this plastic is very gummy, very flexible. Not taco flexible, but it still has a lot of give to it. And so I can actually, for my backhand, I can really manipulate the flight plate to make this feel nice and comfortable. Let me see for forehand. You can see how much I'm manipulating that flight plate to get it almost as if it is flat. So when it's in those kind of more warmer days, kind of late spring, summer, I could really see this being very nice and comfortable to throw just because of how gummy it is. However, in the wintertime, which will probably be what we're going to be testing it in, it is going to really stiffen up, and I don't know if it's going to be as comfortable in the hand, but we'll see once we get out to the course. So, with that said, those are the 3 discs. I'm excited to give those a try, so let me go ahead and meet you out on the course. Okay, so everyone, we completely lucked out. It is a balming 36 degrees and very low wind, maybe 5 miles per hour at best. So for Minnesota, these are perfect winter conditions. First hole, I'm going to try the Skyway just because I want to try it on a forehand. It's still cold out, so this plastic will stiffen up as the round goes on. So I want to try it on that forehand before it stiffens and becomes a little bit less comfortable for the grip. All right, going to want to throw the Skyway on a little bit of hyzer, get it to pop up, get a little bit of that turn before hopefully having that overstable finish. Okay, threw it more flat, but that's really good to know. That thing is beefy. All right, left myself a little short, but should be a routine up and down for par. Oh, that actually does have some stability to it. All right, about 8 feet. All right, so I have to know I have to throw those short approaches a little flatter. All right, right in, par for the first hole. A little bit uphill, hard crash to the right. So we're gonna do the Skyway again, this time backhand. Try to get it on a spike hyzer just around these pines. Whew. Or just throw it way out straight. All right, that's just a really long putt. Okay, swung back pretty well. Gave myself about a 40-footer. See how the champ does on a jump putt. Get in. Whew. Okay, close. But that was a little flubbed, not quite direct. Shorter hole, so we're gonna go with the champ. Gonna try to toss it flat, straight out, see how much glide it has, but then also just like how much overstability at the end of the flight it has. Oh, that thing's hyzer nice. Don't go down, don't go down. Okay, leaves me about a 15, 20 footer. Yes, it did not go down the hill. Trees stopped it. All right, about a 15-foot straddle putt for the bird. Oh, no mini. Woo! So at slow speeds, the champ is definitely overstable. I'll try to find a somewhat longer hole for it, just so I can really rip into it and see just how long it'll hold straight before having that hyzer finish. Now for this hole, it is unfortunately kind of a blind one, but it's perfect, I think, for the Belleair. Throw something up near flat, slight hyzer, let it go up towards that field goal of trees, and then just kind of let it hook all the way off to the right. See if we can hit this. Ah, too wide, but at least I kept it on hyzer. Okay, that could be good. It's not going to be parked, but that could be good. So before filming this video, I did take a look at Paul Ulibarri's video about these discs, and he said that the Belleair was good at kind of holding that line. Well, can definitely say, definitely did. Apparently, I don't know the hole well enough because that was absolutely parked. It held that hyzer very well. This hole, I normally actually throw the discraft drive on a little bit of a hyzer, get it to flip up to flat, have a nice panning turn, and then as it gets close to the ground, have it have a nice forward pushing skip. But I think the Skyway is going to be way too overstable for that. So I'm going to try on a little bit of a flex, get it around that center tree. T-pad here is a little sketchy, a little slick, so probably will not put everything into it. Oh, right into the tree. Or right through it. Had eyes. Whew. Lucky. So I'm going to go with the left-hand gap, swing the champ around. I know at lower speeds it has a lot of good stability, so I don't have to worry about it this short of a distance, this slow of a speed, of it flipping up or doing anything wacky. I just know it's going to hyzer. There we go. skip up. All right, right within about 5 feet. All right, so I got that par, but we really haven't seen the champ putting except that floated jump putt. So I'm gonna go back to try about a 20-footer, 25-footer, so forth, just kind of see how it putts. Okay, well, a little high, but at that distance, very straight. Go back a little bit further, from a little bit further back, about circle's edge. A little high again, but that one I put on a little bit of a hyzer and it held. The first one I putted dead straight and it went straight. This thing is really gonna hold that line. All right, so at least for putting with the champ, we found that it's a very stable putter. So it's gonna hold the line that you put it on. It's not going to like turn or anything like that. It just really holds the line whether you put it flat or on a hyzer, it's gonna hold those. I wonder if you get a little bit further out, it'll probably have a little bit of a dump, but in my full review, I'll kind of go over that. This hole is just kind of straight at it, going with the Belleair. I'm gonna throw this thing flat, see how much hyzer it has. Oh, way too low though. But really good ground play. Okay, I'm gonna try the Skyward on a more extreme angle. Didn't really get the best of reads on the previous hole I threw it on just because, again, T-pad was a little sketchy, didn't put everything into it. So I want to throw this on a little bit more of an extreme anhyzer and see how long it'll hold it before it kind of fights out. Seeing as this thing really doesn't get that much turn per se, it just holds the angle. I'm worried though I'm going to just kind of hook it right into that tree. Oh, low, BB low, please, 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 please. Okay. Oh. Okay, I did exactly what I thought I was gonna do. I just basically hooked it right into the tree. Luckily, it was low enough, not high. So the Skyway, definitely I wouldn't call it flippy by any means. As you saw, it just held the angle. It didn't really turn, it just held that angle and then fought out of it. So those of us with slower arm speeds, it's gonna be a great wind fighting disc as long as we keep it on a hyzer to flat. Bigger arms, I mean, as you've seen from a lot of the pros throwing, you're gonna have to give it some hyzer. But at slower arm speeds, it really does not have much, if any, turn. You know, downhill, I'm gonna try the jump putt, because why not? Oh, come on. Oh, thought I had that one. That would be a good two. I rarely two this hole. All right, so not the regular T-pad. Backed it up just a little bit, as you can see. I'm gonna throw the Belleair flat again, try to get a little bit of height this time and let it kind of fall in towards the basket. Also, I do apologize if the audio cuts out. I'm racing against the clock here as my mic is just about dead. That's what I get for not charging it. Oh, get off that. Get off that. Oh. Whew, that was lucky. Okay, now for the champ. Again, I'm going to try to throw this thing as flat as possible, see how long it'll hold straight before having that hyzer finish. Again, it is cold out, so these discs are flying probably a little bit more overstable than they would during the summer. Oh, there we go. I love that glide. Look at that. Look at that. Just like we drew it up. Okay, everyone, so that was just kind of quick few holes with each of the new Climo Disc Golf discs. Also, I do have my phone going, so again, I do apologize if the mic goes out there, the audio quality will change over to the phone here. So, apologize for that. First, just kind of quick rundown. The champ for putting, very neutral, just kind of wherever you put it, that's where it's going to go. I do think at longer distances, they'll probably get pretty dumpy, but I will test more of that once we get into the spring and summertime. But as a thrower, though, I have to say at higher speeds, it does have good torque resistance. So it's not going to like fully turn over, but it definitely straightens out a lot more at higher speeds. So for slower players, it is going to go straight and then have a little bit of a dumpy finish at the very end. It's going to hold those hyzers very well. But once you start putting a little bit more oomph into it, very glidey, and it's going to really straighten out and be a very good point and shoot putter. Belleair, I definitely agree. It's going to hold the line you put it on. That last shot, I threw it on just the slightest of hyzers. It did flip up a little bit to flat, held straight longer than I thought it would with the angle. but it did have that nice finish at the very end. But it's not a dumpy finish, it's a nice kind of forward finish, so it's just a gradual hyzer finish. I think this is going to be a very popular mold for a lot of players. The one that I probably like the most is going to be the Skyway. This is just a perfect overstable option for players who are looking to get into the faster distance drivers, and it's something you can grow into, get a little bit of probably turn out of it, especially as it seasons in, and then have that nice hard finish back. You're going to be able to put this on a lot of different lines. A lot of players are really going to like this as a huge bomber. So again, thank you guys so much. Be sure to subscribe. Till next one, keep banging chains.